The Pedalhead Show.
Hey, Pedalhead Show family. It's Benny G here from the Pedalhead Show. I'm here at Lamaquaid South in Edmonton, Alberta, getting in line for the February inventory blowout sale. Now, ask yourself, do you need another pedal? Do you need another piece of gear? Do you? Yes, you do. Obviously, life's good. Life's always good because when you have music in your life, life is always good. So Lamaquaid offers once a year blowout sale of their inventory. Every month they have awesome deals. Lamaquaid, thank you so much for supporting the Pedalhead Show and all of its crazy antics. Anyways, I looked on the inventory page of the Lamaquaid blowout sale, and it brought up all the things they had listed for the blowout sale that happens February 16th, which is Friday today. And, you know, I didn't see much that I was like, I don't need that, don't need that. I got the Helix. If you got a digitally modeling board, you don't need much. But I saw that they had a MIJ made in Japan Boss Dm-2. Now this delay pedal is a analog delay that only gives you about 20 to 300 milliseconds of beautiful analog delay from either MN3005 or MN3205 Bucket Brigade chip. If you use slapback delay in any fashion, you know that it's kind of just about warming up your signal, accenting your certain notes, and holding up some phrases, especially for solos. If you're into John Mayer, you know he uses the Octopus version 1, the AP1, which is a pretty much a modded or modern version that's handmade, boutique style version of the Dm-2. So I'm here right now. It's 8:48 a.m. Yeah, that's right. Benny G's been up all night. Doing what? Playing with the Helix, trying out my pedals, thinking about new stuff to make for videos. And I guess I bring you guys along for the ride to see if I get it or not. I called earlier, talked to a gentleman named Tyler, told me exactly where it is. Front desk on a table on the left where the boss stuff is. So no one's here. So no one's here at the moment. There's the door over there. So I'm here extra early, about an hour and 12 minutes early, to make sure if anyone else shows up, I'm in line. I think we have someone. Might be someone working here, we don't know. And it's just the manager. Well, I'm gonna chill in my car for a bit and stay tuned for any updates coming up. And then after we finally get this pedal, I'll be doing a demonstration for you guys of this beautiful Boss Dm-2. I'm so excited, I'm shaking. Oh, I'm shaking. What's your guys' favorite delay pedal? Let me know in the comments. All right, mission was a success, guys. So I'm gonna go home and plug this guy in. I tested it out at the store, and I'm missing a knob, but I have an actual knob from a Boss CE2 I owned that's missing the silver cap, but at least I'll have 3 knobs that will all be vintage. I didn't check the serial number's date yet. You can use that. You can use this certain link in the description below to put any Boss serial number in to find what year it was produced. But what I found was when I tried it out that the repeats were really good. The mix knob worked great, but the intensity was kind of lagging. It was kind of you know, maybe only working at 25 of its capacity, which when you turn it all the way up, it should be self-oscillating. So we might have to repair this thing a little bit more further than just switching out the resistor and diode to make it work with 9 volts. So I'll take it home and modify it to work with 9 volts and also switch out the electrolytics, and we'll hear how it sounds.
All right, guys, now we're back here at the Pedalhead Show headquarters. I have the Dm-2 plugged into my Line 6 Helix through an effects loop. It's going with the VB2W, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. I just want to show you guys how the Dm-2 sounds without any modifications or refurbishing done to it. So I don't have it plugged in to the 9-volt adapter. I'm just using the battery. And as you see, I have the repeat rate all the way at 7 o'clock, which if you guys know about the Dm-2, it's wired in reverse. So when you go left, you get longer delays. And when you go right, you get shorter delays. It only gives you a maximum of 300 milliseconds, but we're not really too much concerned about that. We're really more concerned about the intensity knob. As you see, I have it maxed out here. And like I said, I wasn't getting the expected self-oscillating that I've seen in many demos of vintage Boss Dm-2 black label made in Japan. So I just wanted to show you guys what I'm talking about. So here we have the pedal off. I'm going to engage the pedal now with the most amount of milliseconds of delay and the intensity way up. So very short, kind of reminiscent of a reverb. I actually had to turn off my reverb in the Helix to make sure I could hear what the Dm-2 is actually doing. And, you know, it's not giving me that self-oscillation. The output of the effect level is a little bit dim. And if we bring that delay time a little bit quicker, so lower the delay time, we have even less of a dramatic effect. Some drive. Now, if I dial back the intensity to about 0, we should only expect one repeat. Halfway. Sounds just about the same. You should be getting like at least 3 or 4 by now, or you know, almost approaching self-oscillation, especially when it gets to about 3 o'clock. Barely any difference, right? Crank it all the way, we get the So we're going to open up the Dm-2, find out what bucket brigade it has. I did look up the serial number. It says it was built in 1983, which states, according to the service notes from Boss about the Dm-2, that this should have the MN3205. Let's find out, open it up, check those electrolytics, and swap them out for some new ones. Here we go. We'll also be doing the ACA to PSA conversion, swapping out a diode and a resistor for a jumper. And those that diode code and resistor code is D1 and R2. R2 is a 330 ohm resistor. And, you know, maybe, just maybe, the battery clip is not, you know, powering the pedal properly. And as soon as I do the PSA conversion, we might get more delay repeats. But I'll take you guys along for the ride thus far. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends if they're interested in pedal modifications and pedal repairs, especially on awesome vintage Boss pedals like this amazing Boss Dm-2. We're going to figure it out, guys. Let's go. All right, now we're back after just converting this Dm-2 from ACA to PSA, and I think my evaluation of the battery power, or how much the pedal was getting from the battery clip, was correct. Two things. As soon as I opened it up, I realized it had the 3205 Bucket Brigade chip, which is good because that's a lower noise, higher fidelity chip that gives you a lot of headroom and a lot of clarity and doesn't really build up too much. And it also has the JRC 4558D, which is in all popular Boss pedals and very sought after Ibanez TS9s. So that's good. And I wasn't expecting much because I haven't done too much work with analog delays, but doing this conversion, I think we're on to somewhere. We got a lot more repeats, more beautiful headroom, and I'll give you guys a demonstration of how it sounds. So we have the intensity. Let's dial it back to 0 so we can hear the difference between 0 on the potentiometer and 100% on the potentiometer. Here we go. That's our bypass signal. Obviously, you hear more output, more clarity, more push. Really makes this pedal sound like 100% already. All right, let's hear this intensity knob at about 50%. Oh, there's a lot more repeats there. One, two, three, four. All right, so obviously it sounds way better after converting it to PSA, and we're powering it with 9 volts with the DC adapter. The DC adapter, not cadapter. Now, in some sound demos that you'll find on YouTube of the Dm-2, the newer version, the one that has the 3205 chip, you'll notice that the self oscillation is kind of a little bit more under control. It will self oscillate, but it won't like go nuts, and you have to get down and bring back the intensity. So here we go. This was the problem we had. Let's see if it's really fixed. 1, 2. Let's crank on some drive. Bring back the mix a little bit. All right, now let's try the Dm-2 with its minimum delay time, even though it looks like the max delay time with the pot maxed out all the way to 5 o'clock there. But now if you know anything about analog circuits, you know that the bucket brigade is used for mostly chorus, flanger, and other things, and other modulations. And modulation really is a fluctuation of your rate of a fluctuation of a low frequency oscillator that basically works like a clock that brings your delay time up and down to adjust pitch, as we heard it does it as we see it does that when I was moving the rate pot, it was changing pitch. Now we brought back the intensity a little bit, and we have the rate, around, all the way to 20 milliseconds. Chorus is about 11 to about 30 milliseconds of delay, and flanging is about anywhere from for like 3 milliseconds to about 20. So now we're kind of in between the flanger and chorus range, but we won't get any pitch shifting because the rate knob doesn't have a low frequency oscillator to move it back and front, to move it left and right or up and down. But we're going to have some kind of warm, chorusy, flangery sound to it. So let's try that out. Oh yeah, it's in the flanger category. Oh wow. Bring back the mix and the intensity a little bit. A little bit of boost and some distortion. that ain't your daddy's slapback delay, I'll tell you that. Holy moly, that's insane. I love it. Wow. What is it again? I fixed the Dm-2. I fixed the Dm-2. I'm gonna do changing some electrics, but you're gonna see it soon. Was that cheesy enough for you guys? I mean, like, I am a dad, so like, you know, dad rock. You can't not have dad rock when you're playing with slapback. Come on, you know what I'm saying? right, guys. So I'm going to keep you guys around for a little bit longer. We're going to change only 2 capacitors in this awesome delay box we got here. Basically, electrolytics they dry up after about 10 to 20 years. This pedal is 41 years old. It came out in March. Sorry, it was produced in March of 1983. Wow, what were you guys doing in 1983? Leave in the comments below. I wasn't even born yet, so I can't really say anything about that. But there's 2 main electrolytics that are responsible for powering the entire pedal. And in this pedal, it is C38 and C37. Why I feel comfortable with changing only these 2 is because, like a lot of Boss pedals or a lot of pedals out there that have electrolytics, pedal companies are able to get very, very small electrolytics. It's kind of hard to source them. There are some places on Amazon you can order some from Small Bear Electronics, but from the ones I have now, I have electrolytics that are, just about under the size of the big 2, which is C38 and C37. Otherwise, all the rest of them are very, very small. I don't have that many in order to change all of them. But this will refurbish the pedal to give it a little bit more clarity, a little bit more fidelity, but basically give it new life. And the LED might shine a little bit brighter. All right, so I'll show you guys the pictures of that. So let's go back to the soldering bench. Let's go. All right, now we're back, guys. So I went through the Dm-2, tried to see which electrolytic capacitors I could fit in there in terms of which ones I had that were the right voltage or over the voltage minimum amount, which microfarads I had available, and which was a priority and which one was not. I'll be replacing all of them in the future, but I think after doing what I did today, I'm actually pretty happy with how it is. So I might keep it as it is after this. So I replaced C38 and C37. These 2 capacitors mainly power the whole circuit. Then I also changed C2, which is the electrolytic that's responsible for helping out the first transistor. So basically, how the pedal sees your guitar and sends it through the dual op amp to the output and to the bucket brigade chip. Then I also changed C7, C8, C26, and that was about it. And so here's the results. Whoa. Now, as you hear, it's got a lot more headroom, a little more smoothness around the edges of each delay or each repeat. And, it kind of took away the vintage feel of it. Every capacitor, every resistor has drift over the time. So, majority of this pedal is still vintage, but as we can tell, the pedal has a lot more headroom, a lot more clarity, a lot more warmth, and almost like a little bit more of a darker dimension to it. And also with the intensity very high and the repeat rate pretty low, in terms of low, I mean high milliseconds, so slower repeats, it doesn't self-oscillate, but the repeats are there. It really self-oscillates if you bring the repeats up higher or milliseconds lower. Keep up, guys. So it's not so easy to self-oscillate to get the crazy noises, but the fidelity of the main guitar signal is a lot more kept, and the signal out of the mix knob is more present, and it doesn't really get as much it doesn't really get in the way of your playing as much. So I think I did a pretty good job in choosing which electrolytic capacitors to swap out because it still has that vintage flavor, but it has a lot more modern fidelity to it. Kind of like your poor man's feedback pedal, huh? Chords are hard. But I really understand how the Dm-2 being one of the first solid state bucket brigade delays out there, it's having 300 milliseconds isn't your usual, run of the mill modern bucket brigade delay or digital delay or even vintage digital. It kind of is in the realm of how a vintage tape delay would be used on most tracks. And really, you can get that really cool 80s stud eighth note pretty fast if you bring the repeat rate all the way down. and bring up the intensity. And the mix. How it kind of like decays with the bucket brigade really reminds me of a tape delay, honestly. Now that I've done the swapping out of the electrolytics, it really gives me more of that tape feel, but almost like in a surreal way. Now here's some classic ways to use the DM2 as a awesome slapback or something to accentuate your notes and keep them longer. Now, as you see here, I have the awesome Wazacraft version of the VB2, the VB2W, right in front of the DM2, and I have an expression pedal set up with the VB2 in order to control the depth. I have the speed set to about a pretty cool wobbly amount, so you can understand where the vibrato is going up or down, and using the vibrato in front of this analog delay almost gives me the ability to have this analog bucket brigade delay. It kind of gives me the ability to give this bucket brigade DM2 delay some wow and flutter. I'll show you what that's about.